When you build a powerful brand like you are with Naked Sundays, it comes from authenticity, but it also comes from the power of your story and the journey. And you weren't afraid to share that. And I think that is just such a great lesson for people to take away from this podcast, because so many people are afraid of sharing their life, but you weren't. And then when you started actually creating these amazing books and tapping into all of those connections that you'd met throughout your career, you got the attention of Meghan Markle. Tell us about that experience.
So, I always try and think of things that sort of haven't been done or are about to become big. The female empowerment explosion had not yet happened. There were no books. Now there's hundreds of them, telling these stories and really tapping into what you're really doing now, which is telling stories in a really authentic and unique way. But there was nothing out there. So really we had to sort of come up with a bit of a blueprint. So we thought to ourselves, well, I guess the best thing that we can do is to find out from these women that we love and admire, tell us about we really wanted to know about what happened when they failed and how did they get back up again? And so that was the key string throughout the book. And so we decided, all right, let's try find 50 of the world's most fabulous, successful, inspirational women and let's interview them. And it was a time, as I said, that this was not happening yet. And I know it's hard to believe, but we contacted Ariana Huffington and Gwyneth Paltrow and Meghan Markle and so many amazing women. And the yes was just instant. Of course I would love to tell my story. And it's such an interesting thing to think back that they hadn't really told their story, especially not Meghan Markle, and in this way. And so I remember, my husband looking at the book and he's like, it's a bit boring. You should get the hot chick from Suits. And I thought, oh, who? Meghan? And he's like, yes. And so I looked her up and I thought, okay, she seems to have had some trials and tribulations in her life. I'd love to know more about her story. She was volunteering with the UN. She had her own thing going with the TIG. So I reached out to her and yes, she contacted back and she said she'd love to do an interview, and we conducted the interview. And this went on for a couple of months and we pulled it all together in a beautiful essay, and she gave us some photos and we published it in the Game Changers. And then on the day it launched, I was reading the early news for Channel 7 and the lead story was, oh my God, Prince Harry is dating this little known actress by the name of Meghan Markle. And I remember in the break from the news, screaming across the newsroom going, I had the book in my bag. I'm like, oh my God, I interviewed her. Yeah. I know her.